When applying for a visa to Australia, it is particularly important that you know the correct and most beneficial visa for you. It is also important to get at least the basic information about the visa so that you will not be disappointed or get scammed in the end. Now, clients usually come to us confused about their status or the kind of visa they are being offered. So this is why we thought of explaining the difference between a skilled visa and a work visa. Hi, my name is Teresa Cardona. I'm a lawyer and a registered migration agent from Auspac Visa, where we help Filipino professionals, partners, families, students, graduates, trainees, and all our kababayans to migrate to Australia. If you are new here, please click that big subscribe button and all the links that I will mention in this video. You can find the links in the description below. Okay, so let's jump into it. Now, skilled visa is designed to enhance and strengthen the Australian economy by giving skilled and business people provisional and permanent residence in Australia. Now, skilled visa category targets the qualified people who are under 45 years old with good English, with occupation and qualification that are required in the current labor market. Now, in most cases, the types of visas in this category are generally required to pass the points test and be invited by the immigration before making an application. Now, whereas work visa is designed to respond to the needs of the Australian employers. Under this scheme, Australian employers can recruit and hire skilled people to work or fill positions that cannot be filled up from the Australian labor market. So most of the visas here are temporary visas and will require another stage to obtain a permanent residency in Australia. Now, in most cases, the visa types here do not require an invitation from the immigration, but letter of offer or a contract of employment from an Australian employer is a must. Now, okay, just to make it clear, skilled visas are points-tested visas in which you need to pass the mark. The current mark is 65 points, and the basis of the points are your skills, your age, your qualification, your English, education. Now, work experience is not required, but will help you boost your points. So you need to express your interest to apply for any of the visas in this category. You also need to nominate an occupation on the list. Now, skilled visa is either provisional or permanent visa, except for subclass 485, which is a temporary visa. With any of the skilled visas, you can live, you can work, and you can study in Australia. But any of the skilled visas does not promise any job, which means that you will need to find or look for a job or employer once granted or once in Australia. Now, once you are in Australia, you can work in any job. You can work in part-time or full-time job. It's up to you. Now, the skilled visa, except the provisional visa subclass 491 and subclass 485, normally gives you an indefinite stay in Australia and will allow you to work unlimited. And in terms of social benefits, you can get a Medicare with PR and provisional skilled visas. And in most cases, there are social benefits including free education and other government assistance. Now, what are the visas that may well be classified as skilled visas? Number 1, subclass 189, the skilled independent visa. Number 2, subclass 190, the skilled nominated visa. Number 3, the subclass 491, the state territory nominated visa. And the number 4 is the subclass 491, the family sponsored visa. And last is the subclass 485, the skilled graduate visa. Now, the skilled graduate visa is only for those who have completed at least 2 years of study in Australia. Now, with subclass 189, it will all be about you and you alone. So, if you want to get this visa, you will need to be the best and the highest rank candidate in the skill select. Well, I'm not going to explain all of the information about subclass 189, but if you want to find out more information, you can go to the Department of Home Affairs website and look for subclass 189. It will show you the information and the eligibilities and all the different things about 189. I will put the link in the description below. So now with the information on the website, the immigration website is built to make it easier for the applicants to understand the process, but it is not built to ensure that you will get a visa. So in other words, what the website is trying to tell you is that anyone can tick the box and can make an application. And whether it's going to be granted or not is another question. Remember, you will be assessed based on the relevant provisions of the migration law and procedures, and not on what is listed on the website. So if you are not sure, get the help of a registered migration agent or migration lawyer to handle the job for you. Okay, back to the discussion. If you want a subclass 190, you will need to have a nomination from the state and has the best qualification that the state is looking for. And if you're looking at getting invited on a provisional visa for subclass 491, you should either be state nominated or relative sponsored, wherein your skills combined with the support of your relative in the regional area are two important factors. Okay, just the same, you can look up subclass 190 skill nominated visa. And if you're looking for the requirements of the state, you can also look it up in the website, or you can browse in the other videos that I made. Now, all the links are in the description below. Now, with subclass 491, it will be the same thing. So the state nomination and the relative sponsorship are the two streams, and the eligibility requirements are all in the website, or check my other videos about this one. Now, what about the work visa? For you to be granted a work visa, you will need to have a significant work experience, except of course for subclass 407, the training visa in your nominated occupation. Now, the visa here requires an Australian employer as a sponsor. Unlike the skill visa, the visas here require a lower level of English, and you will also need a letter of offer or contract of employment, and you also need to nominate an occupation on the list. Now, the work visas are temporary visas except for subclass 186. Now, you are allowed to live in Australia and to work in Australia, but you are only allowed to work for your employer and only in your nominated occupation. Now, once this visa is granted, you can start working for your employer as soon as you arrive in Australia or as per your contract. Now, unlike a skill visa, your work here is subject to the validity of the visa. And visa can expire or can be cancelled in some situations. Now, there are no social benefits extended to working visa holders, so you must pay for your own insurance. Now, what are the visa that are classified as work visa? Okay, these are number 1, subclass 482, the popular one. This was formerly known as subclass 457. And then second is subclass 186, the ENS or employer nominated skill. And then third is subclass 494, the RSMS, skilled employer sponsored regional provisional visa. And then the last one is subclass 408, the training visa. I included training visa in this category, but there are some complications with this on whether or not you can claim the work experience that you had in subclass 407 to apply for another visa. So you better consult your registered migration agent to clarify this one. Now, unlike the skill visas, the work visas come in various streams. Now, like for example, subclass 482 comes in short, medium, and labor agreement stream. Now, again, I will not explain each one. You will need to look up what each visa requires. Now, you can read it all or contact your registered migration agent or lawyer to thoroughly explain all this. Now, the links are in the description below. Now, subclass 186 comes in 3 streams: the direct entry stream, the labor agreement, or temporary residence. Now, in most cases, the applicant here for subclass 186 came from subclass 482. Now, in some cases, qualified applicants can also go direct to permanent residency under 186. Now, again, you could look up the details of this visa if you wanted to at the immigration website. The link is in the description below. Now, How about subclass 494? Now, subclass 494 is the same thing. It comes with two streams, the employer-sponsored stream visa and the labor agreement stream visa. Now, in both streams, employers in the regional areas are allowed to hire overseas qualified people, whether onshore or offshore. Now, if they cannot source an appropriately skilled Australian worker. So, if we are going to put the differences and the similarities in one table about the skill visa and the work visa, it's going to look like this. Now, what is the common thing in all these visas? Now, one common thing is that you will need to nominate an occupation in the relevant list. It's very important. Now, whether it is a skill visa or a work visa, you will never get away from identifying your occupation. Now, all the visa types in the skilled and work visas need an occupation that is listed in the relevant occupation list. So if you are selecting an occupation, make sure that the occupation is specific and not general or generic. If you cannot identify exactly what you do in your job, well, it will be difficult to find the right visa for you. So if you say you are an accountant / manager / customer service / human resource person, I'm sorry, but it will not work. If you said you are an accountant, you must be an accountant. Okay, now my tips. Now, tip number 1, when you are offered a visa by anyone, ask which subclass or what subclass, so you can check and see for yourself if you are fitted to the general description. Now, if you are, then pursue it. If not, just be honest to yourself. You can either give it up or consult a registered migration agent to explore some other options for you. And then tip number 2, when you are offered a job by an Australian employer, ask for at least a letter or offer, not a verbal offer. A letter of offer or contract of employment is a sign that your employer is serious about hiring you. If a friend of your cousin or a friend of your aunt said to you that he or she wants to sponsor you for any job to help you stay in Australia, that will be an indication that your employer has not taken any serious step to actually sponsor you. So don't put your hopes up. Remember, nominating an occupation that is on the list is very important. If your employer cannot identify which occupation you will need to be nominated, you might run around in a circle and miss a genuine opportunity. Now, the best step is, if your employer is really serious about hiring you, ask them to contact a registered migration agent or a lawyer to find out if the business will pass and can handle the obligations that will be required to get the visa, and also to get your qualification check, whether you are eligible for that particular visa. Now, tip number 3, be financially prepared. Now, skill visas are generally paid by yourself. So from skills assessments to visa application and grant, there will be a lot of expenses along the way. Now, work visas, particularly subclass 482, is or must be paid by your employer. Now, either way, you must have money to kickstart the skilled migration or visa application. There's nothing as frustrating as when you have everything done and then suddenly the regulations and requirements change without you even lodging a visa. So whatever you do does not lock in anything until the visa application is lodged. Okay, so tip number 4, be informed. The more informed you are, the better chance of getting a visa at a shorter time, with less money, and with a little effort. Okay, so that's all for now. Do not forget to click and subscribe for more educational videos on Australian migration and visa application. Now, see you next week. Bye.